Unusual and powerful work. Kirkus Review. Over 1,000 beatings, spiritual sanity, and the rejection of evil. Bill Neely. Outskirts Press. Hell of fine print. Skipping that. Table of contents. Skipping that. Introduction. Evil is too incredible to be believed until it happens to you. I must not give up. I must continue trying, not to let the light within me die out. I am 70 years old. I need to tell this life experience of mine to a listener with an inner ear. Most every day I feel like I am dying within. This is what I must combat. I am worthy of light. Though in my mother's own words when I was a child and teenager, I was evil, a devil kid, and an obscenity. She was the good parent. My biological father was one of the worst of men. He was a torturer whose laughter was one of delight when I screamed and cried for my life. He would ambush me when I was alone. As a teenager, straddling my chest, pinning my arms to the floor, trying to make me guess which hand he was going to slap the side of my face or head with. Then he would run his hand over my face, pinching my nostrils while cupping my chin with his palm, trying to close my mouth so I wouldn't be able to scream, laughing at me all the while. I am the only living witness. The first thing I want to avoid is thinking that the only sane thing to do in this world is to be insane. Logic has failed me spiritually. It has come up short. It is inadequate. I seek throughout the day to transcend a spiritual gravity within me that never lets up and continually pulling me downwards towards a lower descent of thought, feeling, and being.
They seek to spark an inner light of inspiration to attempt to create a spiritual sanity from within a higher good. I seek a liveliness, a spontaneity of innermost feeling and being. I would be unable to write what is ahead without the attempt to express this inner light and spirit that are hopefully coming to be in a brighter way. To be alive, if only for a few moments, is to be in a way of a higher good and of a brighter light from within. I seek to ignite a spark of inner creation here to bring the darkness into the light. There was a period in my life from age 21 through 26 that
I had yet to begin to consciously self-destruct. I was optimistic and open for help, for inspiration to make it go out of living life. There was acquaintanceship, and conversation with others. Yet it was reading books that was the most compelling. It took me all of 6 years to go through most every single philosophy and psychology book in the main library in Philadelphia, searching for guidance on how to live my life. In addition to the library, there were bookstores and a lot of popular self-help books. I was a voracious reader. For fiction, I read psychological suspense, horror, romance, mystery, crime novels, and the classics. I was seeking an unknown something within any one of those books to enlighten me in attempting to live my personal life in a more constructive way back then. The only passages I ever came across from any one of those books that I could relate to or identify with were from a couple of psychoanalysts. They had examined and written about some of the torturous and traumatic events of the early childhoods of a few of the past serial killers. This was no help at all. This was no help at all. Back then, I never came upon anything that was written in a sympathetic or empathetic way about victims of violent crime or victims who were harmed grievously in their lives by other people, whether in a short or lengthy period of time. I was left to my own self-knowledge. My idealism, my aspiration, and the striving towards a noble, honorable way of living life became one of self-destruction and self-negation. The spiritually insane and sick thinking that I experienced was that the most noble, selfless action I could ever perform on this planet with my life was just to end it, to snuff it out. I vividly remember when, at the end of those 6 years, I finished reading the very last book from the psychology section of the library, that it felt like inside me the final nails were being pounded into the lid of my coffin.
That was then, and this is now. For me, the writing of this book is to embark on a voyage of hope, to aspire to communicate the phenomenon of inner light and spirit with my fellow man and woman.